A major surgery to save a young COVID-19 patient's life. This is the InsideEdition.com coronavirus news for June 11, 2020. A team at Chicago's Northwestern Memorial Hospital recently performed a double lung transplant on a woman in her 20s. The woman's lungs were irreversibly damaged by COVID-19, and she had been on a ventilator for 6 weeks. An ECMO machine, which provides oxygen to the blood, helped keep her alive.
And after the blood is oxygenated, it's going to be returned to the patient via this tubing marked in red.
But the transplant was her only hope for survival. Before surgeons could operate, the woman had to clear the virus from her body. Once she was put on the transplant waiting list, an organ match was found quickly. And the operation was a success. It's the first double lung transplant for a COVID-19 patient in the United States. A different kind of coronavirus recovery was on display in Madrid as jerseys from Spanish soccer teams decorated the streets. La Liga's postponed season resumed this week. Spain was one of Europe's most severely affected countries. It's gradually reopening with social distancing measures in place for public transportation and restaurants. Now, Inside Edition's Anne Mercogliano reports on how summer camps are dealing with the pandemic.
Camp is in session. Kids are getting a much-needed break from life at home at MOSI, the Museum of Science and Industry Day Camp in Tampa, Florida. Camp administrators had to implement lots of safety precautions in order to open.
How do we get the kids into camp without, doing their normal touching and hugging? Because it's a summer camp family. We have many kids who return year after year, so it's like seeing your old camp friends every year, and it's exciting for them.
One way they're enforcing social distancing, hula hoops, to keep the littlest of the little ones 6 feet apart. X's on chairs help maintain social distance at tables. And when this kid tries to high-five his buddy,
Air high five, there you go.
Kids sit solo at opposite ends of long tables when they're engaging in science experiments. And they space themselves out behind the fence to watch fireworks ignite as part of a science lesson. Masks are optional for campers, but mandatory for counselors.
Make sure we wash our hands.
Check out this daily schedule. Washing hands is part of the official routine. At 9:45, then again at 10:50. There are hand washing stations and hand sanitizing stations. And while the camp used to provide communal lunch, campers now have to bring their own food from home, and only 3 to a picnic table. So how do parents feel about sending their little ones to camp during a pandemic?
As long as they're doing what they're supposed to be doing and practicing social distancing and keeping things clean, there's only so much you can do.
Welcome to camp!
And Inside Edition Digital's Stephanie Officer shares a story of socially distanced cooking and a frontline healthcare worker.
Hello, so I've got a story about a nurse, one of our frontline heroes still fighting this COVID-19 pandemic. His name is Reed Branson. He's a nurse out in Seattle, and every single day for the last 17 years, he has had the same exact lunch. It's a lentil soup. Crescent Dragon Wagon came up with the recipe about 30 years ago, and how could she have any clue that all this time later, this would be the thing that gave him sustenance and it was reliable? It's such a sweet story. So we all got together. Originally, the plan was to do it in person to make the soup, but we did it anyway.
Happy souping.
There are over 7.4 million confirmed cases of COVID-19 and over 417,000 deaths worldwide. There are over 112,000 deaths in the United States. For more on the coronavirus pandemic, visit InsideEdition.com.